A landslide is a general term for the downslope movement of material, and the different types of landslides depend on a couple of things. The velocity of the material and what the material is. How fast it's moving, is it sand, is it mud, is there a lot of water, things like that. Landslides occur all over the U.S., in fact in all 50 states. One of the basic parts of landslide hazard research is understanding the parts of a landslide, looking at its anatomy, and identifying these features can also help homeowners if they're trying to assess landslide hazards on their property. So let's take a look at a few parts here. This is a diagram of what geologists call a translational landslide, meaning the failure surface is sort of planar to the slope. The top of the landslide is what we call the headscarp. This is a place where you have the initial displacement of soil. The failure plane is the contact between failed soil material above and bedrock below the surface. At the bottom of the slide, where this material has slid down the slope, is what we call the toe. Quite often the toe material can spread out if it's a very fluid, fast-moving landslide, or it can bulge up and make a big pile like this and damage or disturb things at the bottom of the slope. Failure planes can have different shapes. This one is sort of a planar type of shape, but failure planes can also be rotational, or they can be complex combinations of both. Slope modifications such as increasing the load on a slope or changing the resistance. Examples of increasing the load on a slope would be adding fill to a slope, adding dirt, rocks, or other unconsolidated material that's increasing the weight. A change in resistance example would be heavy rainfall that increases the groundwater pressure below the surface, decreases the resistance, which lessens the strength and can cause a landslide. Building homes that disturb equilibrium of a slope can do that. Building roads that are benched into the side of the hill will disturb the equilibrium of the slope, will disturb the balances between the load and the resistance. Here's another example of things that homeowners, property owners can look for in their yard. Here's what geologists call a scarp. This is an offset in the soil, so this has moved down and started to move away. And so this is an indication you have a landslide. And other features that property owners can look for are proximity to stream banks. Streams are continuously eroding slopes, and particularly at the base of a slope, these streams will erode the toe, and that destabilizes the slope. Again, that's a change, kind of a change in resistance. Look for excessive amounts of water. If there's water seeping out of the slope, that's something you should be aware of. Look for tilted telephone poles, tilted trees, things that may indicate slope movement. The Kentucky Geological Survey is participating in a number of projects to help us better understand landslide hazards. One project was completed a few years ago was using LIDAR to map landslides. LIDAR stands for light detection and ranging, and it's a valuable tool because it is extremely accurate elevation data. We can take the elevation data and create maps that help us identify the geomorphic features that are common to landslides. This was completed in two northern Kentucky counties, Kenton and Campbell counties, and we mapped over 200 landslides that were previously undetected. In addition to mapping landslides, we have also participated in a couple of landslide characterization projects where we've gone out to one or two specific landslide sites and investigated them. We've monitored landslide movement, we've monitored groundwater levels, monitored rainfall, we've conducted geophysical measurements to basically find out all we can about particular landslides and their behavior. We can use that information to give to planners, engineers, and others who participate in landslide mitigation and preparing for landslide hazards. One of the tools we've developed as a result of compiling landslides in an inventory database and doing landslide hazard research is an online landslide map. Users can go to the Kentucky Geological Survey map service and look at known landslide locations. The landslides come from a variety of sources, state agencies, private residences, our own field work, and a number of other places. These are all known, documented landslides, and each have a variety of attributes associated with them. Using the online landslide map, users can zoom into a particular area of interest and look at the different landslides in that area, use an identify tool to click on a particular site to find out more information about it. In addition to the other landslide data sources we have, we've developed an online report a landslide form where users can go in and submit a landslide location. So if you've experienced a landslide or know of a landslide location, you can go here, submit some very simple information, and we'll go directly into our landslide inventory database.
For more public resources, go to our publications search page and type in landslides. Here you'll find a printable version of our landslide pamphlet, Landslides and Your Property, as well as other landslide reports.